So welcome everybody. I want to thank you all for showing up today to see this amazing interview with a fantastic friend and professional, Mauro Stara from the Six Pack CEO. And I know that a lot of you guys that I've been speaking to within the last 6 months, a year, I've kind of just brought him up to you. Today I wanted to just have the opportunity to sit down, ask him some questions, and also if you guys have any questions towards the end of the interview, I'll make sure to ask them for you. He's a fantastic professional that I've been working with for a while now, and the results speak for themselves. Just go on, check him out online, look at his website. I personally have a ton of patients that are his clients, and he has a lot of clients that have been my patients. So we've worked very well synergistically together. I can vouch for his results and his drive to get his client where they need to be. So Mauro, welcome very much to this interview.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So I guess to start, let's talk a little bit about your journey of how you've gotten here to where you're at now. What motivated you to put this program together and do what you do?
Yeah, so there were like different stages along the journey, but it all started in Switzerland. I was in banking. So I worked in Swiss banking for 5.5 years. And on the side, I was doing some personal training and building up some startups and, dipping my toes into entrepreneurship. And while juggling all these things in my career business, something had to go. I had to make space and push something out of my schedule. And unfortunately, it was my health. So initially, it felt good. Oh, I've got some extra time by skipping this workout and, missing out here and there. But over time, I started to pay the consequences and the price of it. I burned myself out, was constantly fatigued, sleep deprived. And it got so bad that I think it was 24, 25 years old, walked into the cardiologist's office, had chest pain, and I saw a lot of men in their 70s, mid 70s, and I was the only guy in his early 20s there, and said, something is off. I should not be here. They did a bunch of scans, and luckily it was not a heart attack, and it was that the heart muscle was inflamed, and I had to wear a device for 3 days, and that's where I said, hey, I got to draw a line. Enough is enough. I have to do something differently. And as I fixed it, I saw the opportunity to lead men similar to me that I was exposed to for 5.5 years, that I saw their lifestyle and saw their eating habits, their traveling habits, the way they think. And, a lot of times, more men and women, but also for women, we fall into that premise or chase of wealth at the expense of our health. But that's how it all started. And that was the shift that I made. And, when I brought it online, I was working with, a variety of people, but over time I found like, hey, this is the group that I enjoy working with the most, and we can dive deeper into that and, how that led to Six Pack CEO. But it was basically a representation or, similar group to my former colleagues in banking that I'm coaching or mentoring today.
Yeah, and like I said, I've had the opportunity to co-treat, I guess, with you. Like you're in charge of lifestyle, decisions and things, and I do see a big difference with a lot of these people. So I guess talk to us a little bit about, how is it that your program works? What does it entail? What is, like, if someone goes onto your website, like, what exactly is the kinetic method?
Yeah, so kinetic is when multiple forces collide together. So it's a combination of elements that build an all-in-one system. And usually most clients that come to us, they're not new into fitness. They're not off the couch, never been to a gym, never had a trainer. They've usually done everything, and we're the last resort. We're not the first stop, not the second stop, usually the last stop. When they run out of options, like, all right, I'm gonna give it one last shot. Let's see, what this is all about. And the reason I say that is because they had the trainers that give them a workout plan, nutritionists that give them a meal plan, maybe a functional doc that gives them, some supplements or a detox protocol, but they never had someone that puts it all together in one system, from training to nutrition to blood work, supplements, posture. And that is really the kinetic method, like all in one with the foundation of blood work and the psychology and lifestyle built around someone's schedule and their internal biomarkers. And the whole reason I also bring it up in terms of people that come to us and have tried various things is to give you an example, a guy that came to us, he was working with a trainer, and the trainer said, okay, you'll do 5 sessions a week, 90 minutes. And then he has a nutritionist that puts him on low carb. So now he's at like 80, 100 grams of carbs a day, which is not wrong, right? It's just the whole goal of the nutritionist is, hey, we got to lower those glucose levels. And the trainer is like, hey, you got to work out harder. Why didn't you have a pre-workout? You're not performing today. Well, now there's a conflict, right? The trainer wants you to be stronger. The nutritionist wants to lower glucose. So they're not having that same North Star, that focus. And when we have it all under one umbrella, we can determine the hierarchy, and everyone on the team is on board. Hey, first we do this, then we do this, right? So for that guy, for example, what we did with him is first we cut. If we gain some strength during the process, great, but that comes in the second phase. And it's not, I'm going to do this thing and you're going to do this thing, because the client will just be confused and pulled in different directions. And I've seen that so many times, right? So in a nutshell, all-in-one system based on blood work and lifestyle.
And then when you say client, is it restricted to actually being there physically with you, or do you see various people? Where is it that your clients are? Where do they come from?
All virtual. So it's all 100% virtual. Most clients that we work with are in the US, about 90%, and the other 10% are in Canada, Europe, Australia, across the globe, but mainly US.
And I can vouch for the fact that every time I talk to one of your clients, they feel like they're with you face to face 100% of the time. So you guys do a fantastic job with that, for sure.
Thank you.
So talk to me, I guess, a little bit about blood work, right? So when you want to see blood work, what is it that you're looking for, and then how deep do you dive into actually correcting these issues?
Yeah, so we have a different set of systems that we look at, from organ function, so prostate, liver, specific liver. Like, I don't want to downplay the other organs, but if you compare it to kidney, I think kidney has like 20, 25 functions. Correct me if I'm wrong, ballpark there. Liver has like over 500, so many processes that is involved. But organ function, micronutrients, so vitamins and minerals, hormones, immune system, so white blood cells, oxygen, red blood cells, glucose, metabolic health, lipid profile, lipoproteins, and some other markers like homocysteine, for example. And that gives us a big picture view, but also detailed view and snapshot of where someone is right now and what approach potentially works best. And I say potentially works best because, just prior to this call, right, we kind of had like the discussion of guarantees, and there's no guarantee for anything in life. I rather see life as odds, right? So if someone has tried 5 different programs and they never had success, many times it's because their program, training, diet, whatever it is, their routine was never adjusted based on their blood work. So the blood work does not guarantee the results, but it puts you in a better spot and it increases the odds of success, where we can see, okay, for this person, very high histamine levels, maybe an approach of a little bit less histamine in your diet will work well. Less bloating, less diarrhea, less, migraines, headaches, all the histamine symptoms, right? Or someone is pre-diabetic, type 2 diabetic, maybe want to favor a lower carb approach until the glucose is managed. Or someone has, low testosterone, low thyroid function. What can we do there? Supplement-wise, micronutrients, any herbs, and if needed, peptides or TRT, right?
Right.
So it just gives us the numbers, and it's kind of like if your car is broken, you go to the mechanic, he doesn't just say like, oh, it's this. You would say like, wait. Wouldn't you want to get a checkup? And so the blood work, you pull in that device and that blinks, hey, there's here and here and here an issue. You reverse those issues, you fix them, or you manage them if they're not fixable, and you increase the odds of feeling better, looking better, performing better, right? That's the way I see it and what I look at it.
I love that. And I think that's a great approach because it's not just a one-trick pony, right? You're really going in, you're diving deep into helping them reach optimal health, optimal levels of confidence and physicality, which I think is super important, right? And then obviously working with their mind too. Right?
Yes,
So I think
100%.
so with that said, I guess what do you feel are the biggest blind spots in health that most of your clients come in with?
Couple of things. First is maybe they get routine blood work from their regular doc every year, where it's like white blood cells and glucose, maybe cholesterol, and that's it. And they think, oh, I'm normal, everything is fine. Well, normal is not optimal, right? Normal just means you're average in a big range, in a big ballpark, but that does not mean you're the most optimal you can be, right? If you look at testosterone, it's around 300 to 9 or 1200, depending which lab you take for the reference range. Well, if you're 320, you're still within that normal range, but do you feel great? Is your libido high, energy high, cognitive function high, or is it like very low or average? So just because you're normal, again, does not mean you're optimal. That is a big one. I would say more for men than women. They will think like, oh, I'm just fat, or I just carry extra fat, but I'm healthy. And because they don't feel the symptoms, or they've gotten used to it for so many years that they just think it's part of aging, it's normal. So they accept that, oh, it's part of aging, there's a normal decline, I should feel this way, right? They never see how those deficiencies, vitamin D deficiency, zinc deficiency, magnesium deficiency, will impact all other markers. So, making it just an external thing and ignoring the internal things. And
I see that clinically also. People come in and they're like, oh no, I'm supposed to feel this way because I'm 50, or I'm supposed to feel this way because I'm 60. And that's not right. Like, you can push back against that. And just because you're 50 or 60 does not mean you have to store more body fat, does not mean you got to sleep poorly, does not mean that you got to stop exercising and building muscle and losing body fat. So I agree with you 100%. 100%. If you were going to say, the habits, daily habits, right? Like, what are the non-negotiables as far as daily habits that you recommend to your clients that will increase good years of energy, health, focus, longevity, productivity? What are the habits that you would say, you know what, you have to do this?
so this doesn't go in any order. I don't want to say that the first one is more important. It's more what pops out right away from my head. But first thing on in the bullet point, I would say morning sunlight. Make sure you get some morning sun exposure. You don't need to stare into the sun, but that will set your circadian rhythm, will create a cortisol awakening response, and it will signal to your body that 14 to 16 hours later, your body should produce melatonin, which will help you sleep. That's why I always like to say sleep starts in the morning. So getting in morning sunlight exposure outside. So if you're inside and you're staring through the window, that will not do it. You have to go outside to get that. The other one is getting enough protein in, right? Everyone can argue how much that is, but if you go with 1 pound, 1 gram per pound of lean body mass, that's very good for most people without any, kidney issues or kidney dysfunction. Tracking your sleep, right? Make sure you have a tracking device, can be Aura, Fitbit, Garmin, Apple Watch, you name it, Whoop, and getting an overview. Because again, sleep is just something similar to what we just talked about with, oh, I'm fine. Well, I've had guys who say, I'm fine, I'm good. And then we look at it and they have 50 minutes of deep sleep. Imagine how much better you can be, right? So tracking your sleep, and of course, getting in proper sleep, but how do you know it's proper without tracking it? Reducing body fat, so staying at a lean weight all year long. You don't have to be shredded with veins over your abs, but being lean, very, very key. I don't know if it's a habit, but more so byproduct of a habit. So managing diet would be one they're tied to it. Chewing slowly, I think, is the most underrated habit. I know when I was in banking, you've got a quick break, 30 minutes, go up, toilet, wash your hands, and then it's already 25 minutes. Got to get some food, warm up some food if you took something with you, and then you just, shuffling down the food. You don't take the time to chew, and digestion starts in the mouth. And that's why we have teeth. You want to make sure you chew properly, that you can digest and absorb those nutrients. Those would be the daily habits there. I mean, resistance training is also one that has to be on that hit list. Maybe not daily, but a few times a week, absolutely must.
I love it. I love it. So then I guess on that topic, can you kind of break down your own daily longevity routine? What is it you do from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep? Kind of give us some pointers as to, okay, Mauro, right, does this, and this, and these are game changers. What can I do on a daily basis that you do? Walk us through your routine.
So I get up around 5:30, 6 a.m. First thing I do in bed is usually 4-7-8 breathing. That's you breathe in 4 seconds, you hold it 7 seconds, and you breathe out 8. Research shows when you breathe out longer than you inhale, it calms down your central nervous system, can lower blood pressure. So I do it right away. Get up, brush my teeth, get in some electrolytes, any water-soluble vitamins, and then I start stretching. 10 minutes mobility, especially around hips, shoulders, because I sit a lot. After that, I do Wim Hof breathing, usually in the morning, or if I get up a little bit later, then in the afternoon. But Wim Hof breathing, another breathing technique. And after that, I start with my most important thing in terms of work. So creative, high ROI, high output work until 8. After that, I have my breakfast, usually 4 eggs, berries, usually blueberries, some apple, honey, Parmesan cheese, another 2 hours of work, and then I hit the gym if it's a gym day. After that, I have lunch, usually pound of meat, either grass-fed, grass-finished beef, chicken, salmon, rice, veggies, fruits. Work again in the afternoon, then maybe go to the beach. If not, then I continue working all the way to dinner. And then dinner I'll have a shake. I like to have a light dinner. I don't do well with like really heavy dinner. Mm-hmm. And then around 8 p.m. I aim to put technology away, read a book, go for a walk. I love to walk after dinner, just into the sunset. And 8:30, 9 p.m. I go to bed. I wear a sleep mask. So even if you have blackout curtains, I found like there's always like a little spot of light, and I do really well. And I wear also like a mouth strip that forces my body to breathe through the nose, and I just get way more quality sleep. If you want, I can go way deeper, but that's like the big picture view.
I absolutely love that. What I would love is for our viewers and your clients, my patients, right? I'll make sure we put together a list that if anybody wants that list, kind of the things, items that you use, right? Like little devices and things, and we can make sure we send it to them.
Sure.
Right. I'll make sure to get that from you after so that we can send it to anybody that's requesting it. All right.
Absolutely.
Very good. So I guess if you were going to say, because I know you work with a lot of, and we co-treat a lot of high achievers, right? It's people that are not just good, they're trying to be the best version of themselves, right? Not comparing to anybody else, but comparing to where they are, right? And where they want to be, right? So in your experience, I guess, what are the most detrimental things that you've seen lifestyle-wise from high achievers? And what would you say would be a couple of pointers that you can give high achievers?
Probably the biggest one is trading sleep for work, where they'll come back on sleep and think, okay, I'm going to save 2 hours here, and that's going to allow me to work more. I would say if someone is in a startup phase, that may apply short term, but in most cases, especially if we define a high achiever, a go-getter, then it's not so much about your ability to work long hours, but as Jeff Bezos said, it's your ability to make 3 to 5 key decisions a day. And you want to be in the best spot possible mentally when you make those decisions, right? And that is actually almost quoted from the Bezos interview where he said why sleep is so important, because he knows when he goes into that meeting, he wants to be mentally sharp and on his A game, because that decision will cost or make him billions, right? For most of us, it's not on that scale. But again, one poor decision can, worst case, bankrupt your company, right? Or destroy your career. So you want to make sure that you're on the top of your game, and cutting back on sleep, never long-term solution. What happens is then you overstimulate with caffeine, and it masks a bigger issue and becomes a negative feedback loop. So just seeing that and shifting it to, okay, I'm not gonna cut back on sleep, but what can I outsource or delegate or automate or reschedule so I don't have to cut into my sleep, right? Because most people are either time poor or money poor. Most high achievers are time poor, not money poor. So uh, if you have money but no time, you can hire someone or you can automate it, that you don't have to do that and cut back on your sleep every time. I would say that's by far the biggest one. And maybe a new one that I've seen over the last maybe 2 years that some people in the space have been pushing. If you follow Brian Johnson and Dave Asprey and many others, right? And not that I'm blaming them, or so, like, I think they're great marketers and push that idea, but we always hear like living to 100, 120. And I think it's a great outcome to wanting to live longer and extend our lifespan to 3 digits, but not at the expense of forgetting life quality, meaning we're chasing that number, and just that number, by over optimizing, where we miss out on the foundations. And that is so important. So taking all these pills or biohacks, and again, they can all be good in their own way, but a lot of times people miss out on the foundation there. And that is unfortunate. Just, okay, I saw that supplement or that pill there, that's going to help me extend my lifespan, and we don't focus, again, how do I feel, what's my current life quality, which I believe is more important. I'd rather live to 80 until my last day at my peak than to 120 and the last 20 years or 30 years hooked up to any machines, right?
I agree 100%.
Maybe one last one to add there in terms of big mistakes is, as high achievers, and you know that very well, you got to where you are today, just like me and many others who are listening, by working very hard, right? It was not luck. It was not something was gifted to you. I mean, I don't know, but I don't think you're a trust fund kid. So, in most cases, we worked our butt off to get where we are. And a lot of high achievers make that mistake, that they think that's how they win the fitness game. It's not working, I must work harder. It's not working, I must put even more in. And it's not how hard you work, it's what method you use. And number two, how effective you are. There's no reward for hard work. The reward is for being effective, right? And effectiveness and not effort is the name of the game. So I think a lot of high achievers just focus on putting in more and more and more effort when something is not working, rather than looking, what can I do to make it more effective, more efficient, and that will help me make it work.
I agree 100%, 100%. So then I guess with that said, for our high achievers out there that want to expand or extend their health span, right? So there's there's a lot of talk now, lifespan versus health span. So what we're discussing is how long you stay as healthy as possible. If you are going to give us 3 key levers, whether it be diet, exercise, different routines, sleep, supplements, mindset, what would you say are the top 3 things?
So if you look at longevity, there's like 3 pillars. The way I like to see it: how strong you are, how lean you are, how inflamed you are. So if we go by the ladder, inflammation, managing inflammation, because you can be very lean, very strong, but if you're chronically inflamed, it's going to catch up with you. So reducing visceral fat, very, very important. I like to see it under 1 pound on the DEXA. Make sure you have good diet quality, right? That can be debated for thousands of hours, but most people know what good quality looks like on a big picture view. Managing sleep and gut health, I would put those 4 into the inflammation piece. Next one is how strong you are. So strength training is key with some sort of mobility component. right? I see two camps. I see the yoga camp, the stretching camp, and I see the, you know, guys at the gym pushing themselves. You want both. You want the strength, bone density, muscle mass, but you also want to make sure you're flexible, right? It's not okay. I can push and, you know, row and do this, but I can barely get up and my back hurts, my joints hurt, right? You want to have both.
Yeah.
And then how lean you are is going to be mainly diet. And the main outlook there that I have for people is ask yourself, how long can you sustain this? And can you follow it not just for 20 days, but 20 years? Because if you can follow a system for more than a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, because it's sustainable, you like doing it, and it gives you results, then you're automatically going to get as a byproduct the body you want. But if it's okay, it's working, but it's so super strict, it's like holding your breath on the water. Eventually you have to come up and get air. So it's not sustainable.
Yep.
So I would put it into those three: how lean, how strong, how inflamed. There's more, but boiling it down to three,
Yeah.
I'll put it into those three there.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. I'm actually just looking here to the side because I have another screen and there's actually some questions coming in, which is fantastic. One of the big questions that I see here is, do you also have female clients?
Yes. Yes, we do have a female program. About 15-20% of our clients are women, and the rest are men. But yes, we do have one. We have Jane in place. She's a PA and in Tampa, and she runs the female coaching division.
Love it. And then I guess another question was, you know, what are the I guess the resources that you work with the client? So for instance, if the client, like me, like I don't have a membership to a gym. I do everything at home, right? Like, or do you work with people and like tell them, okay, this is what you have, this is what you do. So explain, I guess, a little bit about the training component, right? As far as, you know, obviously I know, and you've already discussed, you dive deep into blood work. You know, how heavy do you get into diet? How heavy do you get in, or what kind of is the game plan as far as for exercise goes?
Yeah, so let's address the diet first, because that will be shorter, and then we can go into the training. As far as diet goes, we lay out everything: how much to eat, what to eat, where to get it. So if you want a meal prep, some clients want to meal prep with their family. Others, they want a meal delivery service like Icon Meals, Factor 75, Mega Fit Meals. Like, there's so many meal prep companies that, you know, we can help you set up. That's an option. Or some clients travel a lot. They travel a lot, or they have a lot of dinners with their clients, business dinners, business lunches. So we look up the menus and say, hey, when you go here on Thursday, have this. When you go here on Friday, this would fit your plan. But we also educate them why we pick this for you. So it changes their decision-making process, that they're not reliant and dependent on us, but they can self-sustain and do this on their own. So that's the diet component, all laid out. There's cookbooks, shopping guides, everything, like all the resources, travel, snacks, everything outlined. As far as the training goes, in the intake form, we ask clients what their equipment looks like, and if they whether want to work out at home or at the gym, or have a hybrid. Some guys want 1 day at the gym, 2 days at home, others only at the gym, others only at home. Whatever it is, we can make it work. And we see what equipment they have, and then we build that custom plan for each client based on their equipment. Most workouts are 3 days a week, sometimes 4 days a week, generally not more than 4. It's very, very rare that I see someone needing more than 4. And they're 30 to 45 minutes a session, usually lower volume. So we're not looking to overtrain, but very high intensity, slow motion movements. So it's not like just, you know, using a lot of momentum, but controlling the movement with the target muscle reduces the risk of injury. And we have a chiropractic doc that also looks at posture mobility to see, hey, what exercise you should not be doing or you should having more of in your workouts based on your pain, injury history, posture, and everything that goes into that. Yeah, and we laid out all in an app. So they see the videos, the sets, the reps. So you open the app, it says, I don't know, upper body, chest focus, and there's, you know, let's say chest press, cable flies, and then there's some back, some shoulders, and everything outlined with videos. We also have a certified trainer on the team. He has a master's in advanced athletic training. He does live workouts with our clients over Zoom. So similar we have here in Google Meets over Zoom, watches them, monitors them. It's recorded, gives them real-time feedback, and they can record as many workouts as they want. So they can get a, how do you call those devices that you carry at the gym and can record yourself? The I forgot the name. All these influencers have it. You know, the whole setup you put there. You can record yourself or just with the phone, send those videos in to us to review them and give you real-time feedback.
I love it. I love it. So then how often would you say, like if someone becomes a client, how often would you say you do these client assessments to see progress?
What type of assessments?
I guess where they are as far as, maybe weight, posture, body composition, things like that.
So initially, there's a lot in the beginning where we set up the plan, everything, and then I review the entire strategy and approve it before it goes out to the client. And based on their intake form and their psychological profile, I see who is the best coach for them and assign them to that coach. And that coach checks in with them 3 times a week via text. There are also weekly calls in the first month, and after that, approximately a quarterly call, but clients can always schedule a call more than that if they need. And that coach reviews your progress every week, actually 3 times. So we go into the system and we see what you tracked in the app, nutrition, training, sleep, steps, heart rate, we see everything. And it's all data driven to see, okay, this is trending here, this is trending there. Here's what needs to change. You need more steps, you need less steps, you need to improve your sleep. Here's what's the focus for this week and so on. You're hitting your targets. It's very data oriented. If you're an accountant, tax guy, finance, numbers guy, people like that or in those industries, they love it. They love numbers and it gamifies it for them.
Whenever I get one of your clients that becomes one of my patients, the data they send me, the amount of data that I don't even gotta ask for, right? It's just blood work's done, this is done, that's done. I get all of that. It makes my job as a doctor so much easier. And they understand, which is the beauty. And I can see that you take the time to explain to them what it is that you're doing because they become a part of the process, right? As opposed to just saying, Mauro will take care of it, right? And I think that's really what separates you guys from other trainers and other facilities is you guys integrate and become a part of their life, right? They make decisions based off of what you guys have discussed and you've taught them. And it's not just telling them what to do, you're explaining to them why you're doing it.
Yes.
So I definitely gotta take my hat off to you guys for that process that you put together. For sure. So do you have another question, do you have any like husband-wife teams that you train and you have this program with?
Yeah, we have. So the way it works is usually the manager in the group, and after like maybe 3 to 6 months, a spouse says, all right, I want to do it as well. We have maybe 2 handful of couples in the program. Yeah, many success stories. And it makes it way easier because if your spouse is on board and you're both on the same journey, then let's face it, your environment is the biggest influence of your success. If you live in an environment that supports the vision and the goals you have, it stacks the odds and the deck in your favor. Where if your spouse is not supportive, it's like, oh, I've brought you some cookies and extra Twinkies. It's like you have to use a lot of willpower. So if both are on the same page, it's going to be significantly easier to sustain this for the next decades.
I love that. And I agree with you 100%. And that's not just training, that's life in general. Right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with that 100%. So there's actually this question is from one of my team members. So what are some books, whatever topic, what are some books that you would recommend as far as health, life, anything in general?
Ooh, great question.
Not too out of left
I'll go
field.
with my favorite books, The Power of Now from Eckhart Tolle. That really helped me seize the moment and be more present, because I was always in the future, in the past, and clustered mind, and that really helped me a lot to be more present, because life happens in the now.
Yep.
So that one is very, very good. I read it like 3-4 times. It's a must. I like Chris Voss' book, Never Split the Difference, in terms of negotiation and staying persistent. More so, yeah, in business, but also in life, that you don't just accept no. And, if you have a goal, that you find creative ways to get there. Breakthrough Advertising, also very, very good in terms of marketing. Probably my favorite book on marketing. Very, very heavy duty. So you can't just read and do something else. I have to be in a closed room, and it's an intense book. That one there.
Love it.
Cialdini's book on persuasion, influence. I like those a lot. Oren Clough as well on what was the book? He has 2 books that I read, but it was a while ago on I forgot the name, but Oren Clough's book, very, very good as well. So I like to read a lot of business, sales, marketing books. They've been helpful. Health, I like Healthy Gut, Healthy You by Dr. Rushko. It was a good introduction to gut health for me. The Dirty Genes by Dr. Ben Lynch on DNA. I like that a lot, even though it was written a long time ago. Like the whole DNA and methylation became popular in the last maybe 3 years, but he wrote it like, I think, a decade ago. So very, very good book there. There's more, but
popular now, talking about genetics and DNA, because I know we do genetics testing, and that's actually unbelievable, just to know what you're genetically predisposed to. Doesn't mean you have it. It doesn't mean you'll ever get it, right? But it's like, okay, I know that this gene's turned on, so let me do things now so I can avoid issues down the road. Super
it can
important.
give a lot of clarity for, like, I've had allergies since a kid, and once I saw my genetic profile, it was very clear what pathways were leading to that. And again, you stack the odds in your favor of, okay, maybe less of this, more of this, and you minimize the symptoms.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So I want to ask you just one last question. So I guess give us a breakdown of what separates you from the average trainer / life coach / right person that's going to help me get to my optimal level. Just give us a little breakdown of that, and then also how we can reach you afterwards.
Yeah, so I will go back to what I talked very early on with the all-in-one system. Again, most people in the industry are specialists to some degree, and I think it can be very helpful if you need a specialist. So let's say let's say you're fully optimized and you want to improve your chest. You go to a gym, you get a specialist who can help you grow your chest. But if someone needs full-on support, then a lot of times actually a generalist or a team that has specialists that all communicate together will be much more beneficial, because again, you have everything covered under one umbrella with one outcome, one North Star, where we know, hey, the goal is to put on muscle, and then we move on to the next step. The goal is to do this. So having that clarity and outcome, absolutely key, versus 3-4 people telling you, do this, do that, do this, do that, and then you're pulled in different directions and you're just lost. So I would say that from a methodology perspective. From a personal perspective, I'll be the first to say I'm not for everyone, right? If you need a cheerleader, a babysitter, someone that motivates you every single day, probably not your guy, right? Most clients that come to us, they already are driven, already working out, already doing the work, but not happy with the ROI. And we don't need to move in with them and, convince them to go to the gym, and put a lot of pressure on there. Of course, we hold them accountable. And if they don't do the work, we have a conversation and maybe give them some tough love. But I would say, I'd rather explain who I'm not for and then close all the doors, and the ones that stay open make more sense, or most sense, in that regard.
I've seen and spoke to enough of your clients to know that you take people from good to exceptional, right? And I think that's that missing piece where a lot of these, trainers or nutritionists, they kind of just very basic. I feel like there's truly nothing basic about what you guys do. You guys do a phenomenal job. You go dive deep, a lot deeper than most people that I've seen and worked with. So I think you guys do a phenomenal job, for sure, for sure. So if they wanted to reach you, how would they reach you? And I guess, what is the process?
So there's two ways. You can go to the website, sixpackceo.com. So 6 with the letter 6packceo.com. And you find all the infos there, program, testimonials, investment, all laid out. There's no, hidden things that come after a certain process. Number 2 would be social media. If you're like, I'm not sure if I want to do this right now, need to learn a little bit more. Social media, just put in my name. Facebook and Instagram is where I'm most active. As far as the process goes, someone is interested to work together. They fill out an application on the website on sixpackceo.com. And I personally get it. I personally review it and go through it and see, okay, can we help that person or not? And if I'm not 100% certain, then I can help. I'll say, hey, I don't think it's a fit, right? We had someone came in, was a vegan or is a vegan. And I said, not your guy, and got a little bit pissed off. It's like, I don't want to take your money if I know I can't help you, because we had them before. And for me and the team, it was very hard to have them hit their protein goals without having like tons, dozens of shakes every day. So I said, and all the nutrient deficiencies. So I say, hey, I respect that. I'm not the best person, but there's, a few others that are very good for that. So if I can help you, I'll tell you. If I can't help you, then I'll point you in the right direction. If everything is good, we get the person onboarded usually within that same week, within 5 to 7 days.
I know that you put out, because I do follow you guys on Instagram, I know you guys put out some great content, a lot of informational content. What is the best way for some of the viewers of this interview to just get some info from you, right? So do they sign up to a newsletter? Do they sign up, go on Instagram or Facebook, TikTok? What are the avenues that they should follow you on?
Yeah, Facebook and Instagram, both. Yeah. Those are the 2 primary channels. There's an email list that is very similar to the social posts. So yeah, social media, Facebook, Instagram are 2 main ones. Pick wherever you're most active, and that's pretty much it.
Perfect. Yeah, we put out newsletters every 2 weeks as BioCure. So what I'm going to do is, at some point in the next newsletter or 2, I'm going to put a link to this interview so that everybody on our database will get it. If anybody wants the interview, the recorded interview, just go on to getbiocure.com. Just sign up for the newsletter and you'll get it, right? So I'll make sure that gets sent out to everybody. I think this was very informational, and I absolutely am very grateful for you to come on to this with us, share the knowledge that you have, because I have seen the results that you guys get, which is unbelievable. So I do appreciate your time today.
I appreciate you having me on. This has been fantastic.
Absolutely. All right, Mauro, great speaking with you. All right, thank you very much.